Barron would have a driveway paved only in sections, not even finished. And Currylow would have 4 checks written to him personally, added together more than $21,000.
Should be arrested or do something with him.
We asked 2 local contractors to take a look at the driveway and give us their estimate.
I've never seen anyone that starts at the front and works their way to the back of the driveway.
Is that what he
That's
did?
brand new. That's a new one on me. I've never seen that.
For Barron's 100-foot driveway, contractors gave estimates between $3,000 and $4,500. Hot Top Paving charged 7 times that amount. Barron's daughter flew in from Florida when she got wind of what was happening. The Meriden police came too, taking a fraud report against Hot Top Paving. The contract reads,
It's a fact many Connecticut towns can claim. General George Washington once stepped foot here, but in Wallingford, his real-life journey has been cataloged roadside, largely unnoticed by passersby speeding by in their cars. It's known as the George Washington Trail and marks his 1775 trip through town and again in 1789 during his presidency. During his first go-round, Washington gathered provisions for his troops. He stopped at the Nehemiah Royce House, the oldest existing home in Wallingford, this to offer farewell to the townspeople. Then off he went, winding through the center of town, through East Wallingford, and over the southern notch of what is now Tri-Mountain State Park before heading into Durham. The trail is memorialized by cement markers that can be seen today in the midst of the hustle and bustle of modern-day life. But if you blink, history may just pass you by.
At about early in the morning, she heard the intercom came on the school, and she heard a scream, and she heard a gunshot or two gunshots, and then the school went into lockdown.
Just after 9:30 this morning, Newtown Police received a 911 call for an emergency at the elementary school.
We saw police officers and we heard them on the roof and in our building.
There were 18 children who were pronounced dead at the scene. There were 2 children who were transported to area hospital or pronounced dead at the hospital. There were 6 adults that were pronounced dead at the scene. And obviously the shooter was also pronounced dead at the scene.
Beautiful little kids between the ages of 5 and 10 years old.
When they were leaving, the police made them hold hands, and the police told them to close their eyes.
What has happened, what has transpired at that school building will leave a mark on this community and every family impacted.
We begin this week's recap with the colorful sunrises and especially sunsets you've been sending us from across the state. They have been beautiful, and the reason for them is interesting. They're a result of the wildfires out west.
Smoke particles kind of playing games with the sunlight coming through right around sunset.
We had some fires of our own this week, on the roads in particular. On Monday, it was a car on the Merritt. Michael got some shots. On Tuesday, Michelle sent us this scene from 84. Also Tuesday, Joanne showed us how a motorcycle burned in Wallingford, basically melting the ground. Wednesday, in Wallingford, several of you got shots of a truck fire on 91 that had traffic at a standstill. A few hours earlier, firefighters were busy at a building in New London. While this weekend fire in Norwich burned the Sakalowskis out of their home, an AT&T worker accidentally started it, and the family made an appeal to the company while talking to News 8's Tina Detel.
AT&T needs to step up and do something, and what they've done so far is just displace us.
Firefighters in Norwich were also busy filling the boot for MDA. These kids sold iced tea to help the family of the East Haven plane crash victims. Rosie's Lemonade stands fighting cancer, while Northern Mutual wrote a big check for the Connecticut March of Dimes. People got muddy to raise money for epilepsy at the annual volleyball tournament in Middletown, while in Milford, folks came together for another August tradition, the Oyster Festival. Hiking Mount Washington in August means you don't need your heaviest coat, but you are treated to quite a view, as Jim showed us in these pictures. Before long, this will, no doubt, be snow-covered. Now, it may be a little too early to talk winter, but it is time for students at Wintergreen Magnet School to go back. Finally, the moon. And not just any moon, a blue moon. We got a bunch of photos, really nice photos, from people like CJ, who was obsessed with shooting it this week. We can see why. I'm Chris Velarde, News 8.